What if this was the moment your life finally took a different direction? Not someday, not next week, but right now. You've heard that voice before, haven't you? That quiet, unshakable whisper from deep inside, telling you you're meant for something greater, telling you that the hesitation, the self-doubt, the endless second-guessing, none of that is truly you. What if that voice is right? What if all the barriers you've been facing weren't walls, but doors you just hadn't learned how to open? Until now. In this video, you'll discover how to unlock those doors using a system we call the Fearless Method. A simple but powerful 7-step approach built from studying people who consistently rise, win, and lead. Not because they were fearless, but because they learned how to navigate fear. By the end of this journey, you won't just feel motivated, you'll have a real, practical blueprint for change. A structure for action. Because here's the truth, if fear has been holding you back, you can change that. You can do the inner work. You can reclaim your power. You can stop fear from being the invisible force controlling your life. And we're going to show you how. But first, let's call it out for what it is. Fear has been a long-time companion in your life, hasn't it? It creeps in when you're about to speak up. It tightens your chest when an opportunity appears. It tells you to play small because small feels safe. But here's the reality. Fear is just a habit. It's not a prophecy. It's not fate. It's a pattern, a neurological loop you've practiced over time. And if you've practiced it, you can unpractice it. That's where the first pillar of the Fearless Method comes in. It flips the entire way you've been taught to view fear. Most of us are taught to conquer or suppress it, as if fear is the enemy. But what if fear isn't your enemy? What if it's your ally? Method 1. Turn your fear into an ally. Fear isn't stupid or random. It's a compass, pointing directly at what matters most. The Stoics understood this deeply. They didn't try to eliminate fear, nor did they let it rule them. Instead, they reframed fear as information, not destiny. That shift changes everything. Let's break it down. Your fear comes from 2 places. 1. Biological triggers, evolutionary mechanisms that protected your ancestors from danger. 2. Psychological habits, learned responses and repeated thoughts embedded in your nervous system. The key is learning to distinguish between these 2. Is your body reacting to a real threat? Or is your mind simply replaying an old story that no longer serves you? Help you do this in real time, we introduce the 60-second Fearless technique. It's simple, it's fast, and it's effective. Here's how it works. 1. Pause for 20 seconds. Tune into your body. Where is the fear? Is it in your chest? Your stomach? Name the sensation. Locate it. 2. Next 20 seconds. Ask yourself, what is this fear trying to protect me from? Get curious. Is it trying to guard your ego, your reputation, your safety? Third, final 20 seconds. Make a conscious decision. Will I allow this fear to guide me or govern me? That's it. 1 minute. And just like that, you move from being owned by fear to owning it. You shift from being its servant to using it as your messenger. It's what the Stoics would have done. It's what you can do now. And once you've taken this first step, once you've seen that fear is not a wall but a signpost, the next phase begins. That's where the second pillar of the Fearless Method comes in. Method 2, the Fearless Commitment. Because awareness without action is just reflection. But awareness with action, that's transformation. The Fearless Commitment is more than a personal promise. It's a bold declaration, a structure you can return to when fear rears its head again. Here's how it works. First, write down the specific fears that have been holding you back. Name them. Don't generalize. Be honest and specific. Then, next to each fear, write down the opposite action, the one thing that fear has been stopping you from doing. This becomes your personal fear map. a roadmap toward growth, a mirror reflecting your limits and your potential to move past them. This isn't new. The Stoics did something similar. They didn't just sit around talking about courage and wisdom. They committed to daily action, rituals, reflections, and challenges that aligned with their virtues. You'll do the same. At the end of each day, we encourage you to write an identity statement. This is a short sentence that affirms the kind of person you are becoming. Something like, I am someone who acts in the face of fear, not because I have none, but because I know who I choose to be. Because courage isn't the absence of fear, it's choosing who you are in its presence. And every time you practice this, every time you pause, reflect, and act, you train a new muscle. You rewire your nervous system. You reprogram your story. You become fearless, not because fear disappears, but because it no longer drives the bus. Let's be clear, this is where real change happens. Because the second pillar, the fearless commitment, isn't just about setting goals. It's about shaping your identity. Instead of focusing on what you want to achieve, you begin to focus on who you're becoming. This might sound subtle, but it's powerful. It's the difference between saying, I want to be confident, and declaring, I am someone who faces fear with confidence. That single shift from wishful thinking to identity alignment puts your future into present motion. It stops being a dream and starts becoming your default. I am someone who... Let that phrase lead your day. It's not fluff, it's a framework. Each morning, choose one specific fear-based pattern you're ready to disrupt. Maybe it's avoiding hard conversations. Maybe it's procrastinating. Whatever it is, bring it into the light. Then decide, what does the fearless version of me do today? Each evening, return to your journal. Write down one victory, no matter how small. Did you speak up in a meeting? Did you make that phone call? Did you simply refuse to run from a moment of discomfort? It all counts. This process rewires your nervous system over time. It takes your brain's instinct to hesitate and retrains it into a habit of boldness. It's exactly what the Stoics practiced. They called it the habit of courage, not a moment of bravery, but a lifelong discipline of stepping into fear again and again until it becomes your new normal. Now, let's talk about what's really running the show, your mental state. That brings us to the third pillar of the fearless method. Method 3, your state determines your action. You can have the best plans, but if your mind is in a fearful loop, nothing moves forward. So we introduce a simple yet effective tool, the trigger system, a series of fast physical and mental shifts you can use the moment fear shows up. Here's how it works. Step 1, shift your posture. Stand tall, shoulders back, chin up. Take a full, deep breath. Your body sends signals to your brain, and this posture tells it, I'm safe, I'm in charge, I've got this. Step 2, shift your focus. Ask yourself, what opportunity exists here? This reorients your mind from threat to possibility, from avoidance to curiosity. Step 3, shift your language. Words shape outcomes. So replace weak, hesitant phrases like I'll try with strong, decisive ones like I will or I choose to. This 3-part sequence may seem small, but when practiced consistently, it starts to bypass your brain's built-in fear mechanisms. You're not ignoring fear, you're overriding it. Think of it like muscle memory for courage. But it doesn't stop there. You want to take this method further by identifying the exact moments when fear tends to appear in your life. Is it before public speaking, when you pitch ideas, when you face conflict? Pinpoint these fear-triggering situations ahead of time. Then decide in advance how the fearless version of you will respond. This eliminates the dangerous pause between opportunity and action, the exact space where fear loves to sneak in and take over. Over time, you'll notice something powerful. You stop negotiating with fear. You start acting before it can talk you out of it. This is where we bring in what the Stoics called voluntary discomfort, a technique of purposefully facing small, controlled challenges to build resilience. Think of it like lifting emotional weights. You start with low-stakes challenges. Initiate a conversation with a stranger. Say no when you usually say yes. Speak up when it's uncomfortable. Then gradually increase the difficulty. What once felt terrifying begins to feel routine. What once triggered panic becomes an opportunity. And now we arrive at a fear even more universal than physical danger. Rejection. Method 4. Rejection conversion. The fourth pillar of the Fearless Method addresses one of the most paralyzing forces in our lives. Not pain, not failure, but being told no. Research on top performers reveals something surprising. They don't just tolerate rejection, they seek it out. Why? Because rejection is a mirror. It reveals blind spots. It toughens skin. And most importantly, it shows you're pushing boundaries. This is where the rejection conversion formula comes into play. Step 1. Practice Stoic detachment. You must separate the rejection from your identity. A no is not about your worth, it's feedback on your approach. Step 2. Find the hidden opportunity. Every no carries valuable data. Maybe it points to a skill you need to improve. Maybe it redirects you toward a better path. Step 3. Take immediate action. The Stoics taught that action dissolves anxiety. Don't let rejection linger in your mind. Respond. Move. Adjust. Evolve. History is full of examples. J.K. Rowling was rejected by 12 publishers before Harry Potter became a global phenomenon. Steve Jobs was fired from Apple, his own company, before returning to change the future of technology. Rejection didn't break them, it refined them, and it can do the same for you. But this skill, like all others, requires intentional practice. We call it rejection immersion. That means deliberately placing yourself in low-stakes situations where rejection is likely. Ask for a discount at a cafe. Request something you usually avoid. Make a bold offer. Then document the experience. Write down how it felt, how long it took to emotionally recover, and what you learned. Over time, you'll notice something incredible. The sting fades faster. The fear gets quieter. Your recovery time shrinks, and you begin to see rejection not as a threat, but as a tool. What once made you freeze now becomes your edge, because those who move forward despite fear, despite rejection, are the ones who grow faster, reach farther, and rise higher. So the question is no longer, what if I fail? It's, what will I gain when I stop fearing the fall? So far, you've learned how to face fear head on. Transform rejection into growth and rewire your identity to act with courage. But what separates those who move forward fearlessly from those who remain paralyzed? The answer lies deep within your self-concept, the story you tell yourself about who you are. This brings us to the fifth element of the Fearless Method. Method 5, transforming your self-concept. Most fears aren't about external dangers. Instead, they're about protecting an identity you've built over years, an identity that tells you, I'm not good enough, or I could never do that. These limiting beliefs form invisible chains that hold you back. But where do these beliefs come from? Start by paying close attention to your inner dialogue. Notice phrases like, I'm not good at this, or I could never succeed. These aren't just harmless thoughts. They are echoes of past moments of vulnerability, failure, or lessons you accepted without question. Maybe they came from a harsh word in childhood or a setback you never fully processed. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." Think of your mind like a fabric stained by these thoughts. When you shine the light of awareness on them, you can begin to spot the spots, the stains, and then work to remove them. The fearless method guides you in accelerating this transformation through powerful communication patterns. It's time to eliminate hedging language like "I'll try" or "hopefully." Replace these with firm declarations of certainty. Instead of saying, "I will become confident someday," try, "I am becoming confident every day." This subtle shift to the present tense helps your subconscious mind adopt a braver, more empowered identity. It's no longer about some distant future self. It's about who you are right now. To push this even further, practice embodiment daily. Each morning, spend 5 minutes physically stepping into your fearless self. Adopt the posture, facial expressions, and breathing patterns of someone who already lives free from the fears holding you back. Stand tall, breathe deeply, relax your face. The ancient Stoics called this role rehearsal, physically acting out virtuous responses before they became natural. This isn't just mental preparation, it's whole body transformation. Your body and mind learn together what it feels like to be courageous, confident, and fearless. Now, with your identity reshaping and your body on board, it's time to rethink how you approach risk. This is where many people get stuck because fear distorts judgment. The sixth element of the fearless method transforms how you evaluate risk by replacing emotional reactions with strategic clarity. Method 6. Transforming how you evaluate risk. Imagine a simple grid, a risk evaluation matrix that helps you see decisions through 2 lenses: impact severity, how bad could it really be, and probability, how likely is it to happen. When you map out your fears on this grid, most of them cluster in the quadrant that's low impact and low probability. This means most of your worries are unlikely to cause serious harm. They're more noise than signal. Epictetus, one of the great Stoic teachers, encouraged exactly this kind of discernment, learning to distinguish between what merely appears frightening and what actually threatens your well-being. When you face a tough decision, ask yourself 3 powerful questions. 1. What is the worst realistic outcome? 2. What is the best possible outcome? 3. What is the cost of doing nothing? That last question is the game changer. Many people never consider it. Yet avoiding risk can often be the riskiest choice of all, because it leads to missed opportunities, regrets, and stagnation. To balance your risk and reward calculations, use what's called the regret minimization framework. Instead of asking, "What do I want right now?" project yourself to age 80 and ask, "Which decision will I regret not making?" This future perspective bypasses immediate fear and taps into your deeper wisdom. It aligns your choices with your truest priorities, the values you want to live by, long after today's worries have faded. Finally, we arrive at the 7th and final element of the fearless method, the greatest challenge in personal transformation, and the one we'll explore next. Method 7, sustaining change. Transformation is a journey, not a moment. And while motivation may come and go like the tide, systems endure. The fearless method doesn't depend on fleeting bursts of willpower. Instead, it builds an architecture of courage that works automatically, day after day. Imagine courage not as a rare, heroic act, but as a muscle you strengthen through habit. Our approach to sustained bravery replaces chasing goals with committing to processes. Rather than saying, "I want to be more confident," you design a daily fearless practice that requires no extra decisions. It simply happens. This isn't new wisdom. The ancient Stoics grasped this deeply. Seneca said, "Sailor's courage grows not by talking of storms, but by commanding the vessel." You don't become brave by merely thinking about it. You become brave by consistently steering your life through challenges, no matter how small. Building your fearless environment is another key piece of the puzzle. Willpower is like a battery that drains quickly. So why make your courage fight against distractions and fear triggers? Instead, restructure your physical and digital spaces to remove these obstacles and boost your courage cues. For example, take your smartphone out of arm's reach if it's your main tool for procrastination. Place your workout clothes right where you'll see them first thing in the morning. Let your environment make courage the path of least resistance, the easy choice, not the hard one. When you do this, the magic of compounding takes over. Every small act of bravery, whether it's speaking up in a meeting, starting a tough conversation, or taking a calculated risk, creates a 1% shift. These micro decisions accumulate like compound interest in a bank account. Over time, they reach a tipping point where fearlessness isn't just a goal anymore. It becomes your default state. And just like that, you've fully learned the fearless method, a complete framework for transforming your relationship with fear. But theory only goes so far. How might these principles look in your own life? Picture this. You've spent years stuck in the same position at work. You have innovative ideas that could revolutionize your company's approach, yet you remain silent during meetings, paralyzed by the fear of rejection. This fear isn't just holding back your career, it's blocking valuable opportunities and your best contributions. You start by practicing the 60-second fearless technique. When anxiety surges before you share your ideas, you pause. You locate the sensation, maybe a tightness in your throat, a flutter in your stomach, or tension across your shoulders. You recognize this fear isn't guarding you against real danger, but against the imagined pain of judgment. With that awareness, you get to choose your response. Next, you make your fearless commitment. You write down the specific fear holding you back. Perhaps it's the dread of public criticism or being seen as incompetent. Then, beside it, you commit to the opposite action. I will share at least one original idea in every meeting, regardless of my comfort level. Your fearless identity statement becomes, I am someone who contributes value without needing certainty of outcome. Change doesn't happen overnight. On your first try, your voice might tremble as you suggest a new approach. Your idea might not be accepted immediately, but something else happens, something unexpected. You earn respect. Colleagues notice your courage. The rejection you feared turns into validation. The more you practice, the more your confidence grows, until fear no longer silences you. This story could be yours. Fear isn't the enemy, it's the signal, the compass pointing toward growth. The fearless method gives you the tools to listen, respond, and move forward. Every day, every small choice builds a fearless you, someone who doesn't just survive fear, but thrives because of it. So, what will your next courageous step be? So here's the question we leave you with. How do you implement this system consistently? The key lies in understanding something crucial. Fear doesn't just happen in your head. It triggers very real physical and mental responses. When you face uncertainty, your body tenses up, your breath becomes shallow, and your mind races to the worst-case scenarios. It's like your body is sounding an alarm designed for ancient dangers, wild animals, sudden threats. Not the challenges you face in a meeting or a conversation today. Transformation begins with interrupting this automatic pattern. The next time fear arises, pause. Take 3 deep, deliberate breaths. This simple act isn't just calming fluff. It activates your parasympathetic nervous system, your body's natural brake pedal, which counters the stress response and helps you regain control. Then, straighten your posture. Research shows that holding power poses for just 2 minutes floods your body with confidence hormones while dialing down stress chemicals. Imagine standing tall like a commander, ready to face whatever comes, rather than shrinking back in fear. Next, shift your thoughts. Replace the hesitant, I hope this goes well, with the confident, this will go well because I've prepared thoroughly. Swap out, I'll try to address their concerns for the decisive. I will address their concerns directly. This isn't about empty positivity or wishful thinking. It's about strategic language. Words that train your brain to seek solutions instead of scanning for threats. Through the 7 methods we've explored, you now hold powerful tools to live with unprecedented courage. Remember, fearlessness isn't the absence of fear. It's the mastery of it. But knowledge alone isn't enough. What truly matters is implementation. Start with one small, courageous action today, then take another tomorrow. These tiny acts of bravery compound over time, growing stronger until they reach a tipping point, a moment where courage isn't just something you strive for, it becomes your natural lived reality. The Stoics understood this centuries ago. Courage isn't a trait you either have or don't have. It's something you practice. Each practice doesn't just change what you do, it changes who you are. So the question is no longer, what if today was the day you made everything change? Instead, it's, today is the day everything changes. Your fearless future awaits. If this video sparked something within you, a desire to live with greater courage, clarity, and purpose, then go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Share it with someone who's ready to stop letting fear make their decisions. This is more than just a channel. Stoic Fantastic is a growing community of modern warriors who are learning to lead with strength, guided by ancient Stoic wisdom and practical tools for everyday courage. Let's keep the conversation going. What challenge are you facing right now that calls for fearlessness? Share your story in the comments, not just for you, but for someone else who needs to know they're not alone. And of course, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss an episode. We've only just begun exploring what it means to live fearlessly and wisely. The path to your strongest self doesn't begin tomorrow. It begins now, and you don't have to walk it alone. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.